Hey guys, it's Brad, and I've been playing a lot of Timberborn. There have been two new maps that came out with the update. I am still editing the video, I promise. This one's probably going to come out first, though. Regardless, there are two new maps that were added. They are Helix Mountain and Beaver Road, which is here. Now, these maps, they're unique, they're interesting. I'm going to load up both of them, and I'm going to show you them both, because I have actually played on both maps, both times with Folktales, because I just really like them better. They're more controlled growth, and more generalist playstyle is me. However, with Beaver Road, it's easily one of the better maps. Because of the design of it, I'm just going to do that. Oh, come on. Perfect. So, Beaver Road. This map is huge, and there are 5 massive lakes. 5? 6, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 massive lakes. It's absolutely crazy how much water there is here. And they're deep. Like, crazy deep. There's also a ton of metal on this map, with massive ruins here, here, here. There's a mine there. There's ruins over there, a mine there. There's metal all over the place. But the big problem with this map is that while there's tons of water, tons of metal, and tons of trees, you can't actually use them. See, all these trees over here, and 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 here, and here, and here, and here, you can't really use them. Because your entire area consists of this slice. Sure, you could build down, but that takes time and resources. Additionally, you have this as your starting area. There is no space for tree farming. There is no space for building resources here. There's no space for anything. There's just not enough green. However, you can get started, and once you've got some green, you can easily get more. Definitely make a rush over to this side, so that way you can start blasting out this for a small flat area, and you can start harvesting this metal, so that way you can get your dynamite. The problem with keeping this one here is that it's just so far over to the metal, and it's so deep you actually can't get the metal. It's crazy tough. There are stairs that weave up and down on this little mountain here, so you can make a nice little shortcut right there instead of having to go all the way around. But it's really not going to help you that much. Definitely try and work your way towards dynamite as soon as you can, because once you get to that point, let me pull up my save of this thing. Once you get to that point, you can start clearing out area, making more green space. Now, I spent a lot of time on this save because it's just tough. And you can tell because it has quite a long loading screen here. Wow, this is a really long loading screen. I don't think it's ever taken this long to load a game. Oh wait, I have seen longer. So, this is the starting area. Again, Folktales. So a lot of this area up here I blasted out. This was all a mountain. Additionally, a lot of this stuff is on water. So if I just start clicking down here, you can see that it's all on platforms. Like, a lot of platforms. I was able to get across here pretty easily, and I made this secondary district where I started farming chestnuts and a couple of trees. It's taken a long time to get to this point. I harvested all of this metal and I harvested all of this metal, but it actually wasn't enough. This is one of the few maps where the uh, metal platforms are useful for the beaver, for the folktales and the iron teeth. I do enjoy having a global power network, so I always connect all of my districts with power shafts, which it takes time and resources, but is doable. After I set up this district, I set up this one over here, which there also was a mountain here, but it wasn't as big. So I turned this area into a tree farming section. And I finally drained this out. This used to be all the way at the bottom of the lake. But it's finally been drained out, so there's enough. So there's no more water down here. It took so long, though. Because that is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks down. And a fair distance out. I had to get the levees in place first. Then I had to drain the stupid thing, which took ages. But I finally have access to infinite metal. Additionally, there is enough space over here for you to fit a couple of farms. Not too many, though. This area really struggles for food. I do, again, have enough chestnuts here, though, so that helps. Let's see. I blasted out mountain over on this side as well. Again, mountain blasting is kind of essential if you want to have enough space for anything. Got enough farms here, got some beehives going, so I have higher crop growth rates. Then I set up this district. Again, a huge mountain covered this entire section, and a fair amount of this was covered in forest, and over here was covered in mountains and forests. It was just a lot. But now there's enough space for everything, and this is one of the few areas where you actually can do aquatic farming, because most of this map is actually too deep. Aquatic farms can only be planted at the coast, right here, where it's halfway in, halfway out of the water. Any deeper and it's considered flooded and will not grow. This district is also taking advantage of the fact that I now have enough metal, so I'm trying desperately to build a lot more metal platforms. But there's just not enough space on the ground for everything that I need. Anything that's ground-based has to be on the ground over here, which takes away from my farming areas or my tree areas. And it's just a mess. As much as I do enjoy this map, I just essentially not having to worry about droughts ever because there's so much water. It is annoying to have to try and build everything. It did in fact take me all 28 cycles before I was finally able to use all of this to its full potential. It took me 24 to drain this out, and I'm still trying desperately to build. They do say that Beaver Road wasn't built in a day. Legend says it was 6 hours, but it was actually more like 26 cycles. It was a lot. As for the other map, let me pull that one up. The other map is Helix Mountain. Now, I haven't played as long on this map, so I haven't changed it quite as much. But I will show you guys the map before I've changed anything about it. So, this is Helix Mountain. You start here on this nice, rather large flat area. There's a dried up forest over here, there's some berries, there's plenty of trees. You have a good number of resources here. Now, the big issue is metal on this map, but I'll get into that in a minute. If we look up here, there's actually a dried up river that you can follow upstream to, oh look, another separate river. It's not super deep, but it does have a small reservoir up here at the top. You can clear out these barriers, however, it's just out of the reach of your district. So you are going to have to put up a second entirely new district if you want to clear those out. However, once they are cleared, they'll flow down and fill up this, which is far faster than the other way. However, you are going to want to dam both of these areas up because it's just a nice area that is more green, and you can have plenty of trees growing up here or down here along the riverbank. It's just a good generalist district. Going down the river, there is plenty of green space. You can blast out here and fill up this little area to get a small pool or even more water storage. You can dam up the rivers all the way at the end, and you can have all of this stay green throughout a drought, which is really nice. There's plenty of green space. You can have giant forests down here, which is excellent. However, if we follow the river the other way, things are a different story. Because as you see, there is no metal in any of these areas except all the way down the river. If you want metal, you're going to have to travel a long way for it. Over here is another large cluster, but there's no way to get water over here at all. If we follow the river up, there is this massive, massive lake with a small island in the middle, which looks really pretty. There's also a small hill over here that eventually you could blast down and maybe make this into a farm, but you should have enough farming area in all of the other districts. However, the big draw of this map and its namesake is this massive, massive, long, winding river that goes around and around and around and around and around and around and around. It's just massive and long. After a drought, it takes almost 4 entire days for this river to fill back up and finally reach the bottom. It's massive, and it's so long. There are also no barriers for you to make a slip line. So you can't just... You're going to have to blast out different sections if you want to make the water move faster. And some of this is actually down multiple levels. So you're going to have to blast out multiple times if you want to have the water come down faster. Then, over here, there is also another section that I haven't gotten to yet, but there's tons of metal over here. There's a forest over here. You can blast out and make an artificial river that travels down here and fills a nice big lake, which seems pretty nice. There's also a mine over here, one of the few on this map, as there is no metal over here except up here, which is way, way in the back and very far away from any water. And lastly, down here, there are more barriers. Once you get rid of these, this entire dried out riverbed will fill up. It'll flow down this way and into these areas to give tons of green space. It'll also flow down here into this for even more green space, flow over here and flow out of the map, and then flow down here and flow out of the map. I don't think it's worth it. because there's so little water sources, there's only 3 here, and there's only, what, 2? There are only 5 water sources on the entire map. And trying to spread it out over the entire map will just spread you too thin. You could try and block off this river up here and flow it all the way down, but this isn't going to be enough for your entire district here and down here. You could try and block off up here and have the spiral come down here, but then you're not going to have enough for both of these districts, maybe 3. There's just not enough water sources on the map. So if I would change it, I would simply add a couple more water sources up here and maybe one more over here, just to increase water pressure and how much water you can actually have across the map. Additionally, I might put in slip lines up here, or a slip line, so that way you could clear out a barrier, and it would just help you get this river moving a bit faster. Now, for down here, I don't think that I would be able to do... I don't think I can safely say what I do. I haven't done anything with it yet. Maybe over here, instead of having this hill, I might put in a massive lake that's fairly deep on one side, so the Iron Teeth can use their deep water pumps. But again, it's just not worth it. There's not enough water pressure. And you can really see that when I go over to my save. There's just no reason to ever go down the river on the lake side. There we go. Oh, game is not happy. There we go. Alright, so this is the same map. It's just been a bit modified because I've been playing on it a while. So this is the starting district. Oh my goodness, the game is not happy at all. Wow. Maybe I should turn it off. So up here's the district. I blocked off a lot of this space. That way there's less water that's flowing out of the map from there, and most of the water gets siphoned off down to this side. I turned a lot of this area up here into tree farming, so I have plenty of wood. There's also a lot of actual farms up here. This is just a generalist district. It doesn't have any specializations, and like you saw, there was no metal anywhere nearby. For that, we'd have to go down the river, which I did. Wow, the game is really not happy right now. Yeesh. So down here, I have plans for building a wheat farm here, but I just can't get dynamite. It took so long to actually get the metal to make the dynamite. I just can't. It took so long, and you need so much dynamite. This one has a lot of aquatic farms. There's Spatterdock, and there's plenty of cattails growing. I might grow more cattails. I think that it's just that I don't have enough bakeries. So throw a bakery down there and switch it over to cattail crackers. But that wasn't enough because water was taking so long to get back down here. I had to expand up the river too. First, I built this district over here, which is still in development. I'm trying to blast away at the mountain here so that way I can build a big farm and have tons more aquatic farms in this section over here. I do have the ability to open up this dam. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to demolish that barrier, and I'm just going to let it play. And then I'm going to put a floodgate there. So that way, if it's not worth it, then I don't have to continue. Now, here I have... It's just taking so long because there's not enough dynamite. Because I'm also using dynamite up here in this district. I have blasted out the slip lines, so water is flowing through much faster. Instead of taking 4 days, it takes 2 days. Because the water has to fill up every single spot before it fills up this, which will start filling up here and then flowing out, which will fill up here and then flow out. It's just so much time. But it is what it is. Alright, so that's finally flowing for the first time ever in this game. Let's see. Oh, of course there's a drought coming. Yeah, that makes a lot of green space, but there's just not enough water. Look at how slowly that's flowing. You'd think that it would flow faster. Granted, there is only one open area, but that's about how fast it would normally be flowing. It's just so slow. That does make a lot of green space. I will admit that. That is a lot of green. It's filled up all there. It's filled up all there. That is... okay, that's better than I expected it to be. But it's just so far away, and again, you'd need dynamite to flatten out some of these hills if you wanted to take advantage of how much space there is properly. Sure, there is ruins over here, so you could build your own dynamite factory in this district, but then you have the choice between building over here and building over here. Which do you choose? And if you don't build over here, you're going to have to dam the river up here. So you're going to lose a lot of your green space down at this end. And if you dam down here, then you're going to have to worry about damming around here as well. It's just so big and so tough to control. It just isn't worth it. Yeah. I would make some changes to the map, make it a bit more user friendly, generally make it better. I see no reason to actually use this area ever. Sure, there's tons of metal, but there's absolutely no way to ever get any green over here. You can't even blast out rivers and make this into a lake. And if you did, that would just be taking away from somewhere else. There's not enough water, there's not enough space, and there's just not enough time to do anything. Because while it does take 4 days for this thing to fill up, it takes 1 to drain. There's just not enough green. Not enough space, not enough time for anything. And down here is all the way at the bottom of the map, so you can't even blast out this river and make it a bit easier to store water. Additionally, this river floods so often. It's kind of stupid how often it floods. Yeah, it's just not a great map. I have enough gears. I don't need more gears. So yeah, those are the two new maps. I'm not a huge fan of them, at least this one in particular. I do think that, again, if there was more water, if there was more ways for you to get the water down faster, it would be better. But it's just so slow and so little water that it's just not fun trying to manage such a small amount of water, because eventually, if you grow your colony enough, you will run out of water. You will start draining faster than the sources produce. Considering there's only two sources up there and only three down here, you're gonna hit that limit pretty quickly, especially downriver where all the water is coming together and it's all these pumps that have taken away. It just it stings having to micromanage your water this much. But yeah, those are the new maps. I'm probably going to modify them in my own time and in my own way, just to make them more user friendly. However, they're not terrible. Beaver Roam in particular is really fun, not having to worry about droughts ever. So yeah, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.